Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Cutlery. A Work Tough Gear Lanzeta rendition, if you will. This is take 2. Before we get too far into the video, 22 veterans a day in this country take their own lives. Vets, I love you. You have a place here. We back to blue over here. We support Leo. How do you do that, Scab? Well, we don't break the damn law. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. So, I put this video out earlier this morning, had some technical difficulties, if you will, so I had to re-release it. I do apologize about that. Shit, I can't talk. I want to thank Chris Napolitano for giving me the heads up, dude. Appreciate you. You saved me there big time. Now, before we get into the video any further, let me read you some specs and we'll get those out of the way. This is the Work Tough Gear Lanzeta. It is incredibly well built. It's SK85. The overall length is 13.8 inches. The blade length is 8.2 inches. The cutting edge is 7.9. The blade thickness is 0.196. The Rockwell hardness is 56 to 58. It is coated with a slick coat. And the handles are that 3D waffle pattern G10 that I love so much. It's got a really nice finger choil, and it's got some great jimping on the back. The overall weight of the knife is 14 ounces. Now, you're asking yourself, what the hell is that on my head? That is my paint sock that I use every day to make sure I don't get sand all in my ears and everywhere else when I sandblast. Couple things, guys. One, Work Tough Gear, their quality is out of sight. I mean, it just is. The edge grinds, the bevels, all that are always perfect, right on time. The overall sharpness of this knife came in at a 9 or a 10. It reminds me kind of a tracker style. Now, let me say this up front. I am a novice at best when it comes to woodscraft, bushcraft, that kind of thing. So, here's the deal. This knife, even for a novice, was super easy to use. Now, when I say test, there's nothing, we don't do anything scientific. I do mainly a demonstration. But the big thing here, guys, is I use the word test. That's just kind of what we did with the knives. We did a lot of batoning. We did a lot of cutting. We did a lot of slicing. All things you use with a knife. And the deal is this. The Lanzeta, one, is translated, look at that, into Battle Warrior. That was right on time. So no Scab looking like a ninja there. Now this is some of that old hose that's used on a dead man on sandblast hose. It's very thick, it's very tough, and I thought this would be a really good test for it. Lanzeta kind of goes right through it. Now this is that high pressure hose. Okay, so this isn't normal water hose thickness or anything like that. It is rated for high pressure, and it will get down with the get down. The Lanzeta had no problem. The design, the style is based on a Filipino Bowie style knife. To me, it's a little reminiscent of a tracker in that you have a couple different blade styles. The first part, the tip of the blade, is more for chopping, slashing, that kind of thing. The back part of the blade is more for carving. Both are razor sharp. I promise you that. I cut myself during the testing, and a lesser reviewer would have probably given up. I battled through courageously. The other thing is, guys, you'll see me dicking around a lot, like with hand grips and things like that, and playing around. It's playing around, yes, but at the same time, it's meant to show you the different ways you can hold it. It's an ample handle, and I absolutely love Work Tough Gear's handles. They're big, but they're not too big. They're just that perfect size. I can choke up and do some fine work, feather sticking, what have you. I can drop back to the pommel. It's got a good thick pommel on it. I can hold on and do some chopping. Now it does have a lanyard hole, and it does have like a coconut crusher, skull crusher type thing on the end of the handle. Works very well. And again, and y'all know this, throughout a lot of the demonstrations I do, you're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot, of cutting. We cut all kind of different mediums. We cut wood, we cut metal. We don't cut metal. That don't even make any damn sense. We cut rubber, we cut plastic, we cut paper, we cut rope. We cut just about anything we can find. Cut a tire. And the deal with the tire thing, guys, some of that is just for aesthetic value, but the truth is, I like doing the stab test, and you'll see us do several different ones throughout the demonstrations. I like the stab test personally to check for hot spots or slippage in the handle. None of that on a Work Tough gear. Contours to your hand very, very well. There's a little bit of feather sticking. I've been working on that, been practicing. Everything, guys, that I do, honest to God, is to get better. I try to use a knife every day of my life. Every day. Why? Because it's the only way you can get better. The more you do something, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you get at it. And I got to say this, even for a longer, bigger knife, this is every bit a knife. What do I mean? There are some knives that are just sharpened pry bars. Got no problem with that. I own a bunch of them. I love them. They're bangers. They're crashers. They're all kind of things. But this Work Tough gear, just like the Woodscraft Chonto, man, they're knives. They're the perfect thickness. They're knives. And they knife well. And that's a big prerequisite with me. As silly as it sounds, it's the God's honest truth. Now, here's some of that old nylon ski rope. Stood no chance, and I mean none, zero, nil, against the Lanzeta. And right here, you're going to see this water hose. I love the water hose thing. I don't know why. Of course, I hold it off screen to cut it, but I like cutting it. I think the reason is with the water hose, you can bend it, you can twist it, you can actually put a little stress on the blade and just get a really good, just see how it does. Now, anytime I use a shorter piece of hose like that, there's going to be a tug. There's just going to be. Now, we're going to do our zip tie test next after we cut this twine right here. Son, it's like I had a stroke. I can't speak today. This video, honest to God, I've tried to put it up 3 times. So good Lord willing, this is it. But right here, no problems with that twine. It shouldn't have any. And that leads me to this. Right out of the box, you can use Work Tough gear. Them ninja moves there. You can use Work Tough gear. What do I mean? You don't have to strop it. You don't have to wrap the handle. You don't have to tape the handle. You don't have to sharpen it. Right out of the box, you can use your knife. And you can't with every knife. And you guys know that. I'm not telling y'all nothing you don't know. But with Work Tough gear, they're just right on time. Now listen, this ain't QVC. I ain't trying to say anything. If you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. But I am a massive Work Tough gear fan. You see me up there cutting some pineapple. No problem with this. Now, we did put up a poll, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, between this and the ATL. It was super, super close. But I decided to go with the Lanzeta for the simple reason I want to do a couple different little demonstrations with the ATL later in the week. So I figured that the Lanzeta would be a good one for today. Now we're going to do the Donnie B All Day drop test and the Donnie B All Day throw it at the stump test. That's where we check the tip, we check the edge, make sure there's no bending, rolling, and we also check the balance of the knife. I am not in any way, shape, form, or fashion a knife thrower, but this knife is really, really, really easy. Just them good hard downward tosses like that, very comfortable. And that's something too. There are certain knives you have to be super careful when you do that with. This one, it was just like a natural motion. Now right here, we've got some sidewalls of a tire off of El Diablo. We got varying widths, varying thicknesses. The big one's about a 1/4 inch thick. And basically, this is the John Peters stab test. Now, this is a pretty good stabber right here. Pretty good. It works good. And I think we got up to a total of 3. We actually penetrated 3 pieces of sidewall. Now, we didn't get 4, but again, I'm not bringing it back over my head. I'm not trying to slam it down from 2 foot up. This is just a good 8 to 10 inch hard punch. I do it again for slippage, for hot spots in the handle. There were none. Very, very, very comfortable in hand. Now, I even had to open a little more sidewall. Like I said, I think we stabbed 3, and this is the John Peters stab test. It's a good one. It's another way, again, to check the tip, to check the edge. I'll say this too, Work Tough Gear's heat treat is spot on, right on time. I've done 9 or 10 different knives from them now, and I'm just going to tell you, I've never had any chipping, I've never had any rolling, I've never had any damage to an edge. Their heat treat's just right on time. They use good materials. I love SK85. Now right here is some of that 2-inch tow rope, just that real thick ratchet strap stuff. So what I did was I took the tip, basically scarifaced it a little bit, and then finished it off. Again, the Lanzeta had no problem working through any of it. Really, really, really happy with this knife. It's a user. It's definitely a user. I'm going to take it with me on our next camping trip that we do. I think it's a good all-around camp knife. I think it will make a good fishing knife, skinning knife. One, because it's only 14 ounces. For a bigger fixed blade, that's not heavy at all. 2, it's light, it's fast, very, very, very controllable. And here we're just going to do some batoning. Now, what I've been doing, I mentioned earlier, practicing every day. Every morning at work, I've been starting a fire. So what I did with this particular demonstration is just batoned up a lot of wood to take with me to work for my fires. And again, is it something I would normally do? Well, honestly, the more I baton, the more I like it. It's a little more controlled. I'll use an axe or use whatever tool saw is necessary for the bigger pieces. But when it just comes down to splitting and stuff like this, man, this is perfect, and it's effortless. The Lanzeta, the Woodscraft Chonto, all of the Nomads make it very, very, very easy to baton. And right here, like I said, it's just effortless. And I believe we're going to shave up some wood next. We tried to do all of this kind of stuff. And again, we did a lot of cutting, man. This is a longer video. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through it. I am a monster fan. Usually if I find a knife, like I said, we're not a QVC channel. You buy what you like. You spend your money on what you like. But there are certain knives, man, and certain knife companies I'm just hyped up for. Work Tough Gear is one of them. Very, very comfortable in hand. Could use it all day long. And that's a factor with me, too. There's some knives that, yeah, they're very functional and you could use, but you have to use them in limited doses. They'll hurt your hands. This one, I could use all day. Very comfortable in hand. Now right there, I just wanted to do some quick, hard downward slaps on the wood to, again, check the edge. No damage, no edge roll, none of that. I will say this too. The spine is 90 degrees. It is uncoated, which makes it nice when you go to strike a ferro rod. And being SK85, it makes it a little easier to sharpen. And you can see right here, I cut myself, and again, I very courageously, battled through. That just speaks to how sharp the damn thing is. I hand just slipped one time. Wasn't even cutting anything, and I cut my finger. So, good job, Mr. Vic, on the sharpness. That thing's a razor, son. But right here, you see just a little feather sticking. Again, this is a piece that we'll take with us to work. Guys, got about a minute left. Listen, I did a video yesterday called Justice for Rhonda Sue Coleman. I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor, and I know I ask a lot of you. Would you please share that video? Please like that video. I'm not going to get into much of it here, but please watch the video. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I will link it in the description. It would mean a lot to me if you'd watch it and share it on whatever social media platform you can. Well, guys, this is straight out from the stump. This is straight in from all the little demonstrations, all the little testing, and you can see this right here is why I love Work Tough Gear. The knife still cuts. After all that, she's still rocking and rolling. Well, Mikey says it best. Everything's going to be all right. I'm Scab. You're not. Love the Lanzeta. I'm gone, son.